Well, welcome to the third world America, as predicted by me and many others many years ago. I mean, I've been talking about this at least since the late 80s, early 90s, and I was quite young then. And there were others before me that had been saying pretty much the same thing. I'll never forget that on Nightline, of all things, there was an older gentleman right around the time of the 1992 elections, the election of when Bill Clinton was elected, and they were asking people what they thought of the election, and oddly enough, people didn't have a lot to say about it. Maybe they're basically saying what we all seem to know now and what probably was known then, that there really wasn't much hope or difference. Remember, Clinton was also the hope and change candidate, so anything that Mr. Obama had been saying later on was not new. But there was this old gentleman, and they asked him about the election, and he said simply, the corporations and the politicians are turning the country into a third world country, and there you go. That's pretty much it. The story is much older, of course. It really goes back to when Nixon tore apart the Bretton Woods, sort of rearranged, so you could say, some say maybe tore apart the Bretton Woods agreement back in the very early 1970s. The agreement that sort of stabilized speculation and this sort of thing, world commerce, world economics, since the end of World War II, worked very well. And, after World War II, there was a bit of stability, there was a bit of progress. There was the feeling that things could get better. There was the idea that another generation was going to live better than the past generation. And even the war generation with the GI Bill and things like that was doing better. So, but it's all gone backwards now, and they have no answer. They have no answer for it. Their only answer is repression. Repression. It used to be the case that maybe there might be a movement that would rectify things, that would correct things, but not anymore. Now there might be a movement, but it'll just be squashed, like the Occupy Wall Street people, who might not have had everything exactly down right, but they were on the right track, and they were basically squashed. This is the reason for the militarized police. This is the reason why a long time ago, several years ago, you could read they were bringing a brigade back from Iraq for crowd control or whatever. This was reported in one publication or another. I forget which one. Several years ago. And so there you go. This is where we're at. And it really doesn't help that many out there had supported all these wars. These wars which not only were devastating to the countries that the U.S. made war upon, like Korea, like Vietnam, like Iraq, like Libya, like Syria, so on and so forth. Even the left bought into Libya and Syria because they thought it was some kind of revolution, an Arab Spring, which it was not. But, this is further bankrupting the place, ensuring that monies go to things that are devastating rather than to things that are uplifting. Well, Martin Luther King said the Great Society died on the battlefields of Vietnam. Things like this. He made several statements along those lines, and that's still true today. This is all still true today. So here we are. And those of you that supported the wars, and those of you that kept voting for the dumbest policies, and those of you who want to scapegoat the poor, you're to blame. Thank you. Bye-bye.